All right. I have my food. And I did some push-ups. Let me just fill the tea up real quick. Some push-ups after the food. So, you know, we're gonna dive in and yeah, we're gonna dive in and yeah. I looked at your chart. I was like, okay, yeah, this is a chart I resonate with. Let's go. Okay. Comfort. Oh, why is it over here? Mm-hmm. Save it. All right. Let's do it. Vamos. Hit that. I know. Let's do this. Let's do this. All right, Sag Moon family. Sag Moon family. Love to see it. Leo family too, damn. All right. So. You got a nice Leo stellium in the third. You've got Gem rising, Mars and Gemini in the first house. You could call it Mars rising. So the ruler is it's retrograde in it's back-to-back Mercury retrograde. Last chart it had that too. Okay. And it's so funny. It just doesn't surprise me because I was like doing a bunch of research and reading on retrograde, like Mars and Venus and Mercury today. And of course, both of the charts I do have that. Um, okay, Neptune is on the descendant. Okay. And the North Node in Virgo, conjunct Saturn. Have I seen that before? All right, so Moon is in very good aspects. Sun square Uranus, just had that too. Square Chiron. Okay, Mars on this way. All right, let's talk. So obviously Sun trine Moon, a very fair balance of the masculine and feminine part of you. And wait, did you? Well, let me just look at the email. Okay, just making sure. Yeah, so usually when people have Sun trine Moon, there was a pretty nice energetic balance between mother and father, or at least you could say psychologically, if you think about how consciously or unconsciously receive different messaging, different wiring from both parents, right? So with the Sun and Moon trine, same, both in fire signs trining each other, usually it's the case that there's a pretty good understanding between them. With that said, the parent stuff can be quite confusing. Like, so I don't go with like the, oh, they're trying, so they're definitely having a great relationship. Or they're square, they're definitely divorced, right? But it's usually pretty spot on, or pretty, yeah. But I look at it more psychologically, in the sense of, okay, so you know, your big three, Gemini and Leo, are two signs away. So that's a sextile, elemental sextile. Those are two signs that get each other, right? And then you add Sag, it's the opposite sign of Gemini. But still, opposite signs are the same energy, just in opposite manifestation. So it's an interesting big three. And we'll talk about the axis, the Gemini Sag axis. But what's really important is to understand the karma here. And yeah, so the moon is square the nodes. Okay, and so it's Neptune. I'm scratching the back of my head. And okay, so huh, South Node in Pisces. Oh, do I know about that one? Now there's a reason that you have in this lifetime all of this fire energy, right? Fire obviously is about passion, it's about activity, it's about leadership. And sometimes you'll meet people who have an excess of fire and they won't feel like they connect with it, right? Or they'll feel like it's even if they have a lot of it, like it's not, they don't see themselves as these fiery, like charismatic, just assertive, able to speak their mind, that they don't see themselves like that. But like, the point is that the South Node carries so much. South Node represents our karmic past, but been there, done that. So with the South Node in Pisces, it represents someone who, and it's in the 10th, it's ruled by Neptune in the in the 6th. So that's interesting. And the South Node's in the 10th. So I could see um I could see how, let me actually think about this for a second. Okay. So there's a big time connection, and you have a 6th house moon. That's difficult. I would not be surprised if you worked in mental health, or something similar to that. At least, something that involves you, helping people, and in the process of helping other people emotionally, you're helping yourself on a daily basis, right? Now, it doesn't necessarily have to be the case. It could manifest in another way, right? Or other ways. But because the South Node is in the 10th, it's squaring. It's I think what it's asking is, how can your dharma, right? What you're here to do, like big picture, reflect these like, okay, let me backtrack, right? So you've had past lives where your your heart and your soul in the correct place, right? But you've been held back by self-doubt, whether it's self-doubt, escapism, self-sabotage, just not believing yourself, or and this is a big one, not organizing your life enough, giving up too easily. So if you think about what Virgo represents, right? Your North Node, which is the metaphoric mountain that you're trying to get to in this lifetime, with the planet Saturn, which is all about structure and order, in the fourth house, right? You are in this lifetime, you're trying to um like the goal is to start from ground zero and build a very solid foundation because you're very used to, like, it's easy for you to be in these high abstract places. Like you're a natural you're karmically, you've been a healer, you've been, you know, someone who is able to you've brought various, special spiritual gifts in this lifetime. But it's like, imagine like the really talented astrologer or numerologist or, healer practitioner, whatever, who is so gifted naturally but can't get it together, can't create a schedule to save their lives, can't um you know, can't gives up on themselves, has these, larger than life goals and ideas, but then, at that you know, first bad thing that happens, they give up, right? Um, so the North Node in Virgo person, like one of my best friends has this, and I always have to tell him, like, write stuff down, get a calendar, like promise, like when you make a promise to yourself, you stick to it, right? Now, you're born in 79, so you know, the nodal journey is something that it's not necessarily a linear growth, right? But it definitely, I would say, like, for I mean, hopefully, right? For not for everyone, but like, for people who are trying to grow, there is growth towards that, right? So you'll kind of have an idea of where you're at, but there can be tendencies from the South Node. But it's not about ignoring the South Node. It's about using the best part of the South Node, which is those amazing talents, right? This healing talents or whatever it is, artistic talents. It could even just be a incredible compassion, um, imagination, ability to bring color to the world, and yeah. So with Saturn and North Node in Virgo, you know, it's also about you knowing your own worth, right? And for example, a lot of South Node Pisces, they undercharge. I've noticed, like, especially with spiritual work, they'll undercharge like what they're worth, and it's hard for them to see that, right? To see their worthiness. And they'll look at other people and they'll sometimes think like, oh, that person's just better than me. I can never be that person. But really they're amazing. So yeah, with my friend, like I was saying, I'm like telling him things. I'm like, yo, like, remember this. Like, don't ever say I'll do it later. Like, do it now. Like change your vocabulary, change your mind. Virgo is literally about words. So it's about how can you change, the your internal messaging. Now, Pisces South nodes sometimes rely too much on, like, oh, it's just gonna all be good, and it's a beautiful thing because they tend to have this. Well, this is the thing because it squares Neptune, so a lot of times South Node square Neptune does speak of some crisis in faith, where in this lifetime you're trying to refine a higher calling or a higher connection to the divine, to God, whatever you want to call it. But I see it as more so you having had some type of dream crushed, and in this lifetime you're trying to um you're trying to move past that, right? Like there's been like and I think because it's on the descendant, that relationships could play a role in this, could have played a role in this, right? In the sense that, you know with that South Node of Pisces square Neptune on the descendant, it could have been that, like, imagine you're like this, like I said, like this extremely talented, you have all this potential, whatever, or not just, yeah, you're like a actual like an incredible healer, like, and but then you like have a relationship with the wrong person, and that person, and because of that Neptunian energy, you merge with that person, but but that person isn't the right person, and they might not be a bad person, but there's issues with boundaries with South Node and Pisces people often. So maybe there's issues with saying no, or issues with, maybe part of you knew like this needs to end, this is holding me back, but it didn't happen. So in this life, that's another big test, is how can that Pisces South Node say no? Now, thank God that you're armed with this very, very confident Leo energy. But a lot of times I speak with Leos. Now, you do have a massive stellium, so I do imagine that you resonate with that sign. But a lot of Leos, besides Leo risings, um, they'll be like, I don't really resonate with Leo so much, but I can't imagine you don't. Especially with fifth house Pluto too. So basically, you're here to try to like fourth house North Node, right? To, slowly and steadily. And this is coming. Look at how little Earth you have, right? Um, you you have the North Node in Earth, you have no supporting energy, right? I mean Saturn, but that's yeah, that's not an inner planet. You don't have any inner planets, which is the big three: Venus, Mercury, Mars. And you could cut Jupiter's kind of like middle. Saturn is still, yeah, sign matters, but it's not like in the same way. So you don't have the energy that's really supporting, I guess, Saturn, yeah, a little bit. But like the point is that it's like brick by brick building the foundational blocks to your life, which is really interesting timing, because that's what I feel like this last new moon and this coming full moon and the last full moon, like that's what I feel like this is about. You can go watch my reel if you didn't see it. I had to put it out twice because the audio was messed up for a lot of people on the first one. But yeah, so that's a theme, and you get karmic um rewards when you are doing things that to other people seem trivial, like for example, having a good diet, good sleep, yeah, like I mean, like working out, treating your body well, treating your mind well, making sure that on the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual levels that you're all good. Now, I don't, and it doesn't have to be on some nerd, like I don't want to say like nerd shit, but like you know what I mean. Like it doesn't have to be on some like ultra, Virgo, just like planning every detail of your life. That's not what I'm saying. It's just that it has, like, like sometimes South Node and Pisces, they have a tendency to kind of, like, because they're so ethereal, forget about their physical body, forget about the physical demands of the world. So it's about finding a balance between those two, and then only then, like you're when you've done that, can you start to really show the world and use your gifts to actually help people, right? um but yeah, for Pisces South Node, it really is about you know just all that Virgo stuff. So finding a structure that works for you. And I want to, like, on that subject of structure, look at your sixth house. It has Neptune, Uranus in it, and the moon. But like, let's focus on Neptune, Uranus, because when those two planets are in the sixth, Uranus, for example, in the sixth house is our everyday life. That gives a very unusual everyday life. Someone who, and I have this too in a whole sign. So it's like someone who doesn't want to live a daily life that is just like one day after the next is the same. And that's also very Sag moon, right? Sag moon is an emotional need for freedom, amongst many things, and adventure. And Sag moons can get bored quite easily. And so the sixth house Uranus is going to make you want, people with that are better off working for themselves, or doing something that doesn't require them to be at a job, for example, every day. And it's not that they can't do that though. If they care about something, as a Leo, especially the fixed fire energy, like you have this rare ability that only Leo has to start, right, and also follow through and stick with it, right? A lot of fire signs, like, or Aries and Sag, oftentimes they super exuberant to start, and then boom, like the enthusiasm goes away. So with that said, though, like Leo it's the heart of the lion, so it's like you want to have that heart connection with what you're doing, and just in general, like it's in the third house, so it is also a very big part of your life purpose to find your voice, to find your authentic, which is Leo, authentic, not conditioned by society, voice, and have it heard. So it's interesting how that connects to the Pisces, because yeah, you're really, yeah, it's really about bringing that out, and not being afraid of any judgment, or, oh, what's she talking about? What is the spiritual stuff, right? Nah. So, yeah, so that's kind of how I see it, like um, trying to refine purpose and meaning, and being very careful about who you not not just date, or not just are in relationships with, but also your BFFs, right? The very, any close, very, very close one-on-one relationship. I'm not talking about family with this one, but just because in past life, like I said, that has likely been something that has taken you away. And also with the Neptune seventh house, there can be this sort of perfectionism, right? This sort of over idealism of the person that you're entering a relationship with, right? I always say it's like the Disney movie or the romantic comedy, like rose-colored glasses. And a lot of people, they get past that, and they gain awareness of it, and they realize, oh wow, I totally used to be like that. And it's very common. I have a signature in my chart that is similar. And I was like that a little bit before. um but also, like, it's on a good way. It's like you're able to form very beautiful spiritual relationships, right? But we'll get into that later. So back to the sixth house and day to day. So Neptune in the sixth gets very, very, back to what I was saying before. Um, it gets very, not just turned off when things are monotonous, like that whole kind of rat race type life. Sixth house Neptune people, it's like they just shut down. They tend to shut down, right? And it's very hard for them to I guess, like, play that act, or, like, what I mean? Yeah. So it's like they need spirituality, whatever that means to you. Everyone has their own definition, but just that feeling of connection, right? They need that in their day-to-day life. So, like, a job like accounting would be very, very soul wrenching. And with the North Node in Virgo, what else is Virgo about? Besides taking care of yourself and organizing your life, it's about being of service. Pisces and Virgo it's the axis of service, right? But the Virgo service is a lot more hands-on, right? Um, so yeah. Um, and the fact that it's conjunct Saturn to me is, let me think about one thing for a second. I just think that in past lives that there was some force in society or your family or whatever it was that blocked you from fully engaging in this full Pisces Virgo axis, right? This magic, this whatever witch, whatever energy, you know? So in this life, it's like you becoming your own authority and you building the foundation for the tower of your life. And um it's not always linear, like I said, in terms of when that starts, and there's different phases, and everyone's life is different. Some people, their highlight of their life is they're 18 to 26. Some other people, it's 52 to 65. Other people, it's 58 to 74. Like, or you never know. Like life, God does works in ways that we in mysterious ways. So um yeah. So fourth house though is also about family. So it's like how it's like when we look at your aspect, um the sun square Chiron is often seen as a father wound. Um the Leo sun square Uranus, to me is someone who and it just goes with the Leo also. Just want they want to be different. They can, and sometimes they can be very stubborn, especially when young, around that around that. But there's a point to it. There's a genius to it. It's because they see how the world is, and they see that they don't want to just be like everyone else. They see, yeah. So um a lot, like that's an aspect of someone who's taking the road less traveled in this lifetime. And it takes time for people to sun square Uranus often. Like they can go through many different life phases that build up to some to you know to that they all build off one of each other, one another, essentially, right? So I think also like one thing that could hinder you potentially is perfectionism. I just see that, I'm just saying this kind of with the Black Moon Lilith in Virgo, because I've seen that a lot where people with that will kind of have that zero or 100 attitude. And if they can't get that 100, they'll, just give up, right? So, and it's really just an excuse. Um, so having self-compassion as the Pisces South Node is so important, right? And you have this natural compassion for others, and um like you have to like avoid falling in the trap of feeling like the victim or feeling bad for yourself. I've seen that with a lot of Pisces South nodes. Um, it's like, yeah, so it's like it could come in the form of a partnership, right? Where it's someone who has maybe more of like a pragmatic, not saying you're not pragmatic, but like like you could be someone who is attracted to someone way different than you. You might be married, by the way, I know, but like, um, you know, you never know who's going to be a good match. But yeah. So the fourth house Saturn, that would indicate typically a childhood that, felt, I guess you could say, and it's real, but yeah, that felt. I mean, it's not so close to the IC, but typically a fourth house Saturn feels restricted in their childhood, right? In the way that they can express themselves. Um, I just got weird deja vu. Damn, crazy. But yeah, so we'll go back to that. But it's clear to me from a karmic perspective that when you can also with Pisces South Node, it's like you have to be really, really, really not cutthroat. That's not the right most accurate Virgo word, but you have to, or like there are people, places, things, ways of existing that need to be let go, or else there won't be enough space in your life. If your life is filled, right, um, energetically, then when something new comes, you're not going to be able to have any room for it, right? So, Pisces South Node, yeah, um, not saying yes to everything, not saying yes to everyone. And I think part of the Virgo Saturn energy is doing what I say to so many clients, and it's part of that whole foundational work, um, is, and I think having like a solid home life of your own, right, as an adult is so important. I think that a lot of times fourth house Saturns, they want to like build a household, whether it's the kids or whatever, that is, different than what they have. But then, like I said, I don't see in your astrology this horrid energy like I do with a lot of other charts around childhood. So I want to talk to us. So I hope that you book a follow-up in current astrology with me, because I really want to be able to compare what I'm saying here with your lived experience and put them together. That's really the full way to use me. Use me. Um, and I'll just briefly say and give you a price, and you can tell me. So the follow-up is an hour. Most people add the follow-up with the current, or with this. They buy them together. Um, so but like when someone just got the reading, they tend to get the follow-up and current astrology. So it's a 3-hour live session, and I would be happy to do it for, I'm gonna give you like a very good price. 370. And that's usually probably like 550 or something. Let me write that down. Hold on. So 370 would be for both. I would do the follow-up for 110 and both for 370. So if you want to do just the follow-up, you can do that too. But anyways, I love this. I don't know how that food and those push-ups, like, I need to start doing more push-ups with readings. Okay, let's go back to that. I might pause and do some more push-ups in a sec. Okay. So just let me know either over DM or email at jesseinstantastrology@gmail.com. But somehow my DMs have been kind of weird, but like I should see yours. I don't know. I don't ask me to explain that, but just DM me. But and also like take notes, like 1000% take notes on what I'm saying. Like this is like I'm telling you, this is how you best utilize this process, which is very, very powerful. You take notes, and then most people watch this more than once, several times before the follow up, and yeah. And with the current astrology, just so you know, like that is just about like the now, the year plus ahead. I go into every type of predictive astrology technique I know. I'm not actually predicting, I'm not fortune telling. It's almost, think of it like you're understanding the astrological weather that's personal to you over the next time. And it's very, very important to know about because it's completely different. This natal chart, this never changes, right? The current astrology. You might know all of this. That's the beauty of me doing these blind readings is that I love not knowing who's on the other side because it's just so objective. So okay, so back to what we were talking about. So yeah, so I think that the kind of perfectionism that can appear with what I'm saying is yeah is feeling like yeah like your work is not good enough or that other people are doing it better and you just have to do it. Like it's literally like Nike, just do it. I know it sounds cheesy, but I've seen enough times where South Node Pisces people just start doing the work, and even if things are like kind of like up and down as they are for everyone, right? I just had the worst month of my in the last 3 years in terms of you know sessions slash like how much I made last month, but like I also had like one of my best months in so long as a human. So it's like it's funny how life does that, right? But um, that's just something as the Pisces South Node to know that like life is always up and down. But anyways, so now so also like with the sixth house, this is just showing how important your day-to-day life and routine is to you. Sixth house moon is a hard placement because, like I said, the sixth house is every day. So sixth house moon people, they feel their emotions every day. I know like that sounds like an obvious thing, but like they're very like sixth house moon people, and it's lucky that it's in Sag and well aspected. If it was in like Scorpio, oof, that'd be fucking hard. So it's in a very good and optimistic and happy moon sign. So at least you have that, right? But sixth house moon still, um, you know, their emotions are popping up more frequently than others. So if there's anything that they haven't taken care of, it becomes more pressing. They're less able to push things away. But Sag Moon is probably the best at I mean, they're just I love Sag Moon. Uh, they tend to just be so happy go lucky and optimistic and expand. Like like just it's not that we're always happy, but like we just we believe anything is possible. Like we're very expansionist. Like we're adventurous. We see different perspectives. We want to learn. We want to travel. We want to meet. We want to live life, right? So, but still having it there is a lot. It makes your work and kind of like your mental health really really important. Also your work life, like what you choose to do for work, having like I said having and this is the second time I've seen this, the importance of having an emotional connection, a true emotional connection to what you're doing. And you might not even have like a job like that, but like that's not what I'm referring to. I'm referring to your day to day, right? Whatever that looks like. um yeah, like I always tell people I teach astrology one-on-one, and like you know like your job, like let's say like hypothetically you're like, oh, I want to learn astrology from Jesse. Like you, the sixth house, you know would, if we were doing it, let's just say whatever we're doing, like a lot of sessions, that would represent that, even though that's not a job, right? And you'd be, yeah, so the whole point is that a lot of Uranus sixth house people, they can be like people that go to bed at like 5 a.m., but like then somehow, everything's still organized somehow. Like Hosier, the singer, I think in his song, he's born the day before me. He talks about like how he I don't know the words, but essentially he says that like he goes to bed like 7 a.m. or really really late, but he still gets his work done like really late at night. Sounds like me or how I used to be. Now I wake up early, but yeah. So that daily life stuff is very important. Um, so yeah, you I think the big, like, once again, like a huge thing to watch out for is falling into relationships um that feel like supernatural, especially at the start. So you really have, especially with Pluto in the fifth, like, you know, there can be like very transformational like relationships that come and they just feel like, whoa, like, holy shit, is this my soulmate? And then with a Neptune seventh house, it can trick you into thinking that's the case. So you need to take a lot of time. You need to like really like learn. I mean, you probably, when I say this, I'm talking to you at 18, 16. Like, I'm not talking to you at any age. I'm just talking to the chart, right? You'll get what you get out of it. But there's that need to really take things slow. And it's not just, like I said, it's with business partners if you do business, it's with BFF level best friends, it's with client, it's just with anyone close one on one that's not family. Um, but yeah, getting trapped in relationships would be a weakness I would see with that chart, because the Sag moon, when they're in a relationship that doesn't offer them the freedom and the feeling like they have a philosophical connection with that person, a lot of times Sag moons are not always, but a lot of times they are, you know, attracted to people from different cultures. Um, if they don't feel like they're growing through a period of their life, it's going to be really hard for them to stay in that life. And under stress, a Sag moon, like me, look at me. I was really unhappy in my last um, stage of my life, and I had a girlfriend. I lived in Romania, and I didn't plan any of this that's happening now, like moving to South America. It just happened. I went to visit my mom, and I didn't even plan on going here, and it wasn't even my idea, but I did, and then I'm here. I'm still here. So it's crazy, right? Things are crazy, but damn, I just realized like I have not left South America this whole time. It's crazy. It's already damn. But yeah, so that's kind of like, yeah, like I'm saying, under stress, the Sag moon will seek out an adventure, or they'll want some kind of big change. So, then yeah, we speak about, so already we're seeing like, okay, this individual is probably not meant to, to live in a trap life, right? But then they might have karmic situations that lead them to being trapped and to having to escape, and to have that determination and that assertiveness to say, um, you know, I'm, not going to do this, right? Which is not easy. Um, and then you're Gemini rising with Mars in Gemini rising, right? So, so that, to me, it adds to what I'm saying. Um, a Gemini rising, sometimes they can talk a lot. No, I know a lot of Gemini rising. It's crazy, actually, come to think of it. They just have this endless curiosity for life, right? And to have Mars and Gemini in the first house, conjunct the ascendant, it's like makes you a very. I mean, I would guess that that you're someone that talks a lot. I'm not saying you talk bullshit. I'm just saying you're someone that likes to express yourself a lot, most likely, unless I see something else that's. Wait, and I see. No, I saw Mercury retrograde. So that we'll talk about that in a sec. But that can kind of go both ways. Like, there can be like a part of you that's like very shy, very inward, but usually, I mean, it's kind of complicated. It has to do with progressions and kind of like when, yeah, don't worry about it. But like, at some point, there's an age where, and that's something we can talk about in the current astrology. If you do that, you just have to remind me. The progressed Mercury after birth, let's say, like, it's retrograding for like 5 more days. right? So 5 until 5, it retrogrades and then stations, right? And then let's say um, after, you know, 9 more years, it passes um, the retrograde, like, it passes its natal position. That's a big deal already. Um, that's a big deal. That's a big deal. Hold on, let me catch my train of thought. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, and then when it catches that when it catches the point um where the Mercury originally retrograded, um that's when things go really, 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 really shift. But anyways, so as I was saying, where did it go? There it is. Yeah, so as I was saying, um, with the Gemini, there's just this karmic purpose for you to not like and having a 10th house south node is interesting too, because I think that speaks to the need to balance career slash like dharma, outer life, and home life, right? I think like there's a big karmic purpose to you, probably not for sure, is building a, not when I say foundation, I'm also I would guess that part of that has to do with like a family, you know, kids, partner, whatever. Um, but just like finding that right balance between masculine and feminine. Um, so yeah. Um, so yeah, the Gemini and the Sag together, that axis, you have to realize that you're being asked to be an explorer, to be an investigator in this lifetime, to be someone who goes out in the world, collects data, um, and then takes that data and transforms it into its guiding philosophies, right? That's Sag. And the data part is Gemini. And because the Mars is there, Mars is your action. That means that you're someone who is on it. You're someone who's on it. You're someone who is after it. And sometimes these placements can get a bad rep by some because they feel like, oh, this person, you know like they just can't be happy. It's just this thing after the one thing after the next, one thing after the next, one thing after the next. But like really, it's just like to have someone with a chart like yours, like have someone, like with all that Leo, that's very loyal energy, right? It's just that you're not easily impressed. You need to have a very high um intellectual connection with anyone that you would date, and that shows also by your Juno, which is your ideal mate in Gemini, right? And it's in the 12th house. So to me, that speaks to the karmic nature of your romantic connections or your main romantic connections. Um, but yeah, like that Mars, Mars and Gemini, I always say they're it's like the best for like lawyers. It's like their words are their weapons. and very good networkers, and they're able to have the small talk, like it's a very good skill to be able to communicate with people from all walks of life, right? Um, so yeah, it's really, really good. Um, and the Gemini rising, they are blessed because Gemini equals youth. Mercury, it's ruled by Mercury, which equals youth. So they tend to stay looking young and good for a really long time. Um, fire sign. Yeah, so that actually is very assertive. And this is what, like, you see how I've connected like the past with the present, like, so you have these energies because you're here to have a more assertive, a more, straightforward, making things happen experience, right? Because like God's like, yo, you have these gifts, like let's put these into practice, whatever it is. It might not be spiritual, it could be artistic, it could be compassion. Like I don't know. We have to talk to figure out what that Pisces element represents. It could just be like that tendency to not, you know, meet life in a head-on way, so could be a lot of things. Um, I just think it's so interesting after I've been doing these live readings lately. Um, I realized that these are the best ones because like I don't know anything about you. I'm just saying a bunch of stuff, and I feel like these are as like it just doesn't get deeper than this because it's like if we were having a conversation, like I would still give amazing live readings. I love it. It's so great to connect with the people live, but like um these ones are definitely deeper. I mean, it's impossible for a live reading to be as deep as the recorded one. It just maybe not impossible, but it's just it's a different experience. So yeah, like Mars first house people, they have a huge drive, like massive drive. They're very driven. They're hustlers. They're go-getters. They go after their independence. Um, they can be a little bit aggressive sometimes, even if their path is blocked. They're, like I said, go-getters. But you know, we go back to kind of that or go to that third house, Leo stellium. Venus and Mercury together, and then Sun's there too, and then Jupiter's a little bit further away, but still conjunct Sun. So first of all, Jupiter conjunct Sun is one of the biggest blessings you can get. Everyone I know with that is amazing. Like I mean, they just are blessed by the gods. They're usually very successful. However you define that. Um, Generally optimistic, happy, and expansive. They have this expansive. Well, there's like they always have this aura. My dad has it. My mom actually, both my parents have it. I think what you're imagining right now of them is not is different for some reason than what they are. But like they're not like some. I was gonna say like they're not like some like royalty bourgeois, but down to earth people. But like it just gives like a very good nature, a very yeah, optimistic as I said, and good humor. And that's Leo at its highest energy. Leo it's as lowest energy is the narcissistic, it's about me, 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 like the ratio of giving to taking, right? That's something that like when you have that actually with your chart that I would actually throw out there is that with that much fire and air, um, one of the shadows of that would be someone who is always taking, 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 or taking more than they're giving. So I'm not saying that's you. And with a Pisces South, no, you have that natural compassion. So I kind of doubt it, but I'm always going to put everything out there. Um, yeah. So I don't know. Like with the Leo Sun square Uranus, like it could be that one parent or both, like that life, and third house of siblings too. So like there could be this theme of like trying to separate, trying to be your own person, trying to be different, not trying to follow in footsteps of anyone, and maybe having potentially, and I'm not saying this is, having that then pushed in some way. I don't know. But yeah, the Jupiter conjunction is beautiful, and um in the third house it makes you a gifted communicator and very, very enthusiastic also. You're someone who can pump people up, like that's like some like coach or like motivational speaker energy, and you're able to express yourself in larger than life ways, right? And it just adds to that adventurousness, right? That zest for life, right? And Sun Jupiter people are natural teachers. They're natural teachers and seekers. Um, and at a high vibe, they're people who are never satisfied. Like they're always seeking like knowledge and wisdom in different ways. And like they just have this Leo smile on their face, like the inner child. That's like the Leo Jupiter. It's like that inner child, like no matter how old they are in physical age, like they keep that youth. And Sag Moon too, it's like so exuberant, such a good sense of humor, right? Leo too. So I imagine in Gemini, yeah. So imagine that like you're yeah, like the only low side of those would be like someone who's too much. You know what I mean? Like someone who's too much in the sense that like their energy level is so high and they're so turned on all the time that like sometimes when there's too much fire it can burn, like people who have less energy can feel a little bit burned. Because like you lack earth or you lack water, so it's like what do you do when those happen? Well, with lacking water, it's important to tap into your emotions, right? Now Leo is very sensitive. um but Sag Moon can sometimes be quite, removed from their emotions in the sense that like they can be, very kind of sometimes they can be in the future. They're definitely not in the past. Um, they can either be like really involved, yeah, in the future, like or in the conditional, like dealing with like the potentials, and philosophy and kind of like ruminating on life and yeah, not ruminating, just like just philosophizing on their own. But yeah, so there's definitely yeah, so to deal with that, like I like one random example I give people is like um watching movies that make you cry. It sounds fucking weird, I know. I'm not someone, I'm a Pisces, but I almost never cry. But I wouldn't say I'm out of touch with my emotions. Maybe I am. I don't know. But like I'm happy these days sometimes. But like at the same time, this is the thing I've noticed with a lot of people. I'll tell someone, "Oh, you don't have water," but their south node will be in water. And I'll explain what not having water, it doesn't mean you're not compassionate. Like it doesn't mean like, that you're not intuitive. Um, like maybe there might be like a struggle there. But then they'll tell me, "Oh, like no, I'm super in touch with my emotions." Like and I'll be like, "Of course, it's because your south node's in water, which means you must have mastered that water energy in a past life." I've seen that so many times I would not be surprised if that's how it is for you. But with Earth, it's a different story, my friend, because Earth is your north node. Earth is where you're trying to go, and Earth is about groundedness and consistency. So when you don't have any Earth supporting your like as I was saying earlier, your north node and in Earth, it's like trying to get to the mountain without any of the tools necessary, not necessary, that really help you in that journey up the mountain, right? I don't know the names that they use for those the gear that they use to get up Everest. But yeah, that's just like a random metaphor or whatever. So it's like you're going in without the help, right? So it's harder. So you have to so awareness is step one. And I already told you about the diet, the diet and the six house everyday stuff and finding the routine that works for you and the work and the service, um, and just some level of consistency and really just I think earth energy thrives when it has I'm gonna go back to it. Earth, like when you have that foundation in your life, right? That home you can go back to, each day. Um, whether you're single or not, like if that partner makes you feel like your partner is your metaphorical home, right? Feel your partner feels like home metaphorically, right? That's an example. So it's just like understand that people that lack earth, like me and you, um, the ups and downs are usually going to be more. But there's things we can do. I'll give you an example from my life. I don't really like talking about myself. Like very very obvious one is like I could be in Argentina right now in my horrible situation, right, with my neighbors that are doing the most loud, the most insane construction right above my head. It's unlivable. I have a sensory deficit disorder, so I hear noises and everything's so loud and it's cold. I was starting to get really lonely, and I think my physical health was starting to get bad, and I was starting to get mental health was starting to get bad. And then I come here, right? And now my routine, Earth, I'm getting in the ocean, right? And that also helps lack of water. I'm and it's not every day I'm doing that, right? But it's like, I have it available. I'm getting sunlight, right? Um, I have like a pretty chill routine, I wake up not too late. Um, just right time for me whenever I pop up. I jump in the shower. I go get coffee at this amazing place, amazing Colombian coffee, and then I go from there. If it's a day with now football is ending, yeah. So it's like now I'm gonna have a lot of days to you know, go do things in nature and just really focus on work, right? It's going to be completely different. So it's like that's an example of me knowing that like my lack of earth would make it a lot difficult. People who have a lot of earth, for example, like they're better at a lot of times like going to that job each day and being pretty consistent. Like the mood, how like there's a lot of people like they wake up each day and the variance in terms of their mood isn't like it's not like that crazy. And there's some people who are just like, ooh, ooh, like me. Ooh. I mean now, but then there's things you can do like I'm doing now that are making it more like this instead of like, ooh, you know. So awareness is step one. Um, but I think also physical activity is huge for lack of earth. That can be yoga, that can be running, walking, you know, um, gym, sports, whatever, right? But also, yeah, hiking, literally touching earth, yeah, that kind of stuff. Okay. So, and it's interesting too, like speaking of humanitarianism and just like kind of giving back, you have what I have, part of fortune on the midheaven. So, and it's an Aquarius. So it's like you are in your flow state, you are at your best, and it's kind of like you're like it's just like a very advantageous point. It lands somewhere random on the chart. It's based off of like it's like sun plus moon minus ascendant. It's not that. It's some calculation like that, and it just lands somewhere. It's not even a planet. So the fact that it lands in your midheaven just shows how important your career is, right? How Aquarius, the sign of, and also friendships, right? And organizations and causes you believe in and people you can unite with, and how you finding that, and also just yeah, just freedom. Freedom equals joy. And non-conformity, right? Being your own person, authentic self-expression. right? That's it. And then just like being able to like, and just like how much joy comes from achieving your worldly goals. For exactly what I'm saying about North Node, Virgo, and Saturn. Like you actually like doing that, right? And then how like that is, you see how this puzzle's all making sense? Like it's literally giving you a clue of the kind of work that you should be doing. Or you know what I mean? Not kind of work necessarily, but just like the quality that your midheaven in Aquarius. Yeah, it's better if it's connected to a cause you believe in, or in with a group. Um, you know, just something, life's work. And with it's ruled, your midheaven's ruled by Uranus in the sixth. So to me, that's just showing that and your sixth house is Scorpio. So it's like that, it's to me it's showing that like you want to make a difference in the world through your work, and you want your day to day to have a level of depth to it, right? And then Pluto's in the fifth. So it's like through that depth, you want to also be able to express yourself creatively, right? So there's like this link between like um yeah, between all these different elements, right? And also with the Uranus sixth house, I think that could also be like you being like a trendsetter in the way that you approach your day-to-day life, being very different and coming from your inventiveness as opposed to society. And yeah, anyways, okay. So yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So I'm not really sure about children. I would be interested to hear. Um, fifth house, Pluto ruled by Mercury retrograde. Yeah. Hmm. Could be very, very, very powerful, life-changing experience for you. Um, there could be power struggles within those relationships, very karmic relationships. Um, yeah. Could also be, misunderstandings in the sense of like, not misunderstandings, just like it could potentially like, yeah, take longer, perhaps, kind of delays in that sense. Yeah. Okay. So, in love, like I said, like you're fiercely loyal, and you are very, very sensitive. Yeah, like in the sense that I said that after, like Leo energy is sensitive, but your moon's Sag. Um, what I'm trying to say is that like as a Leo Venus, you the I feel like with that much Leo, they're like that. You need to have like a play, like someone that you can like it's like a playmate, like a someone who allows you to enter that state of play. If it's overly serious, but then also like it's that balance, right? Because you lack the earth, so I just think it's for Leo, for that much Leo, it's really important for you to truly feel like you can be your full self, no matter how goofy. Or else it just won't work probably. And I talked about the conjunction with Sun, and then yeah, Jupiter in the third, yeah, gifted communicator, as I said before. Um, and also just like there's so much like benevolence and 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 just like generosity with Jupiter and Leo, right? Um, and Jupiter and Leo people love kids usually, like whether they have them or not, they tend to love them and be loved by them. Like they love to play with them, and kids really activate them. So, yeah, and Jupiter in third house is very good indicator of intelligence. So, I imagine you're an amazing communicator with that Mars in Gemini, on the ascendant. So, um, yeah, and then but like then the thing is Mercury is retrograde, so like a lot of times like for the that can make someone's thought process go more internal, and a lot of times it's from karmically. I look at it as past lives where you were past lives where I always say like where you either underspoke or overspoke, right? Hold on. Yeah. So, but like also I really attribute it to kind of the way one thinks, right? So when I see that retrograde, I'm like, okay, like with the South Node in Pisces, I think that there's probably like you're here in this life to examine your thought processes and the messaging that you give yourself. But also, I haven't talked about how the South Node squares the moon. The nodes square the moon. That could represent well, to me, that represents emotional pain that's been carried over from past incarnations. And with Neptune there, I think that it's a built up frustration of not having been able to of this feeling of being trapped, probably coming from the relationship stuff that I was seeing before. Hold on. Un segundo. Yeah. So, also there could be some, yeah, I usually don't see it like that, but there could be some difficult karma with the mother with the mother, but I usually don't see it like that. I see it more as like the moon square the nodes. It's like, all right, well, um, you know, there's a different strategy needed in this lifetime to meet your emotional needs, right? And to fulfill the unconscious desires of the soul in this lifetime. And a lot of times that means, not following what society or your family or whatever is telling you to do. It requires you going your own direction. So, yeah. Um, Let me see one thing actually really quick. Yeah, so I think also like just this tension that comes from on one hand wanting that emotional stability and on the other hand wanting that independence, right? So that's a theme, right? That we see in a lot of people's charts, right? So I think I always say with things like that, like it's like how can you feed both mouths, right? So yeah, let's see. But like, yeah, the node square moon. It could be like, yeah, difficult karmic relationships with women, with different women in your life. Like I said, like the mother, a lot of times that is the case. Um, and then just like overall being able, like it goes back to that water, right? Like a lot of times people with this, like they have issues communicating their emotions, right? Or being, kind of conveying themselves in a sensitive manner, so they can come off as like kind of cold, right? If so, it's like learning to express your emotions in that authentic way, right? Um, so yeah. And sometimes like the pride that like Leo, one of the shadows of Leo can be like excessive pride, right? So that can kind of get in the way of that too sometimes. And yeah, and then it can lead to this sort of feeling, whether you're actually physically isolated or not, just like distance from other people. But the thing about Sag moons is that, when they're happy, they like Sag moons, we just like we'll just say whatever, not whatever, but like we'll just say shit, like we're not afraid to kind of like just talk, you know, and it's like once we get good at opening up, um, like it's just like not much like darkness in your chart. It's very light, but like it could be very hectic, is what I'm saying, because of the lack. Like there's not that anchor. So it's like you have to become that anchor. That's such a fucking good metaphor. Thank God. That's literally the metaphor of your chart. It's like you're like you have everything, right? Is that a bug? But like you need to form an anchor. You're the boat. You're the amazing boat, but you need to create an anchor, but you don't even have, but you weren't even given the not ingredients, the materials to make one. So you have to go out in the world and find the materials and learn how to create that anchor, and then learn how to use it. Oh fuck. That's perfect. I like that. So, yeah. So yeah, also I think with that square, like fascinations with like the occult, and you know that's I think that like the more that you get into understanding psychology, astrology, stuff of that nature, interpersonal relationships, kind of I always recommend the book Nonviolent Communication to people, especially someone with so much third house. Um, but I don't necessarily think the communication. Yeah. Well, either way, it's such a good book. It's probably the best book I read. My favorite book I read in psychology masters. Um, yeah, just like being able to bring empathy and understanding into relationships is so important. But like with all that third house, you're probably so intelligent. But so I would wonder, like, is it coming from here or here, right? And Leo is here. Third house is here. So yeah. Yeah, South Node Moon is tough because I feel like it's like, what it takes for you to be like, the moon is like what you need to feel safe, what you need to feel happy ultimately. Um, you know, it's uh it's it's squaring. the nodes, right? Which is what the direction you're trying to head. So it can make people, yeah, it can definitely create some irritation. And yeah, because it's like the moon is so it's like, yeah, it really does take a measured person with a moon in Sag and North Node in Virgo, right? To still create that structure in their life, then also still be that free flowing, adventurous person. But you can do that by finding a career or just a way of life. Like for example, for me right here, I'm a Sag moon, but like, and so I'm in a different culture, but I'm not going crazy. I'm not out partying. I'm working on a Saturday night, but I'm in a different culture. I got to experience, Colombia's football match today. Like, like I'm still, so it's like that's like an example of how you compromise, right? Okay. So anyways, as I was saying, like the Mercury, the, the Leo and the Mercury retrograde and all that Leo energy in the third, it is, I mean, I think like you're a gifted speaker, gifted writer. I would definitely write and journal if I were you. um what would be your actually one second. I think that there's a lot that you find a lot of fun in learning. um and yeah, I've noticed some Mercury retrograde natals, they tend, yeah, like I was saying before, like they tend to open up more as they age. So yeah, just like really looking at the stories that you tell yourself about yourself, right? And being very cognizant of them, but not getting too stuck in your head, right? Which I was just talking about, I know. So it's really that balance between being in your heart, Leo, and in your head. So and yeah, and just following what Leo is like, what makes, like I said, you're here to follow what makes you happy. You're here to have some fun in this lifetime. Um, You're here to have some fun, but ultimately that fun is connected to, like, it's like it has to be connected to that structure, to that anchor, right? Fuck. So yeah, and then Venus with Mercury, that just is another super talent for communicating, putting people at ease. Some people with that even have like a good singing voice. I've noticed a few of them, not always though. I've said that to some people who've been like, I have the worst voice. Um, and yeah, there's just like a pretty easygoing nature to a lot of what's in your chart. Um, and like I said, and but then you have like the 12th house Chiron, which is tough. Um, 12th house Chiron is really about, you know, deeply buried wounds. So and it's in, Taurus, so there we, that is about self-esteem. So but the body as well. So it's like very important for you to feel good in your own skin. So I'm so scratchy right here. A lot of people with that, they have like repressed, you know, difficult, kind of like repressed memories, right? That are very difficult to deal with. Buried pain in their subconscious, right? So it's like um, I've seen a lot of healers with that placement. Um, and it's almost like they're meant to kind of like dig deep and heal themselves in those ways. And it's square the sun, so it could be like be related to the father. And it forms a T square that shoots out in Aquarius. So yeah, I'll talk about that in a sec. But yeah, like it's just like it's tough, like a lot of times it's like self-limiting, very beliefs that are very internal, very, very deep, um, coming from a past lifetime as well. So yeah. But yeah, that one I would love to hear thoughts on it. 'Cause, yeah. But yeah, spiritual practices are, and just anything service, anything that can get you into that unconscious is, yeah, like where you can like unveil those subconscious wounds. That's like, you know, it can come from like examining your dreams, your meditations, however you can get into the unconscious. It's um really, really important. Um, so yeah. But yeah, I can't stress enough like how this and so much in your chart, like especially this 12 as Chiron, like it is it's that point that like only the strong would have that, and it's so you're going to be able to lead other people through their healing journey. And yeah, and I could see you being like a very gifted storyteller, or someone who can, you know, maybe even like maybe even someone really, really able to explain the unexplainable in terms that make sense to humans. Like a lot of us, people who do astrology or numerology or human design or Reiki or whatever, it's like they have a lot of trouble when speaking to normies, you know, trying to explain it. But like with all these energies you have, that could be a skill. But yeah, so like the T square, I guess that I'll leave it at that. Well, I'll look at something else after. Um, Also like a thing that's really good that you have with the Venus Mercury and the Mercury retrograde is that it pushes down the chances of you being like a taker, not giver. It make or like talker, not listener. Like it's probably this does that is actually a good aspect of a good listener. So I want to add that in there. But as I was gonna say, yeah, with the T square. Also, actually, before that, fifth house Pluto, or they have this like this creative impetus in this lifetime. Like they feel like that there's something very, very important that they need to express creatively. So I just want to throw that out there. Um, but sometimes they can go over the top, right? So it's really, really important to have, and that's like you having air really helps that out a lot because that gives you the ability to see how you come off to other people and to know. You know how some people just have no self-awareness. So like yeah, having that air gives you self-awareness. But lacking water sometimes for some people can make it difficult for them to know how their emotion, what they've done or they say or whatever affects other people emotionally. Yeah. As I was gonna say, the T square, Uranus, Sun, Chiron shoots out in Aquarius in the ninth house. So that is such a beautiful way for me to conclude this by saying, well, I'm gonna look at the stars too and see if there's an out of Mars is out of bounds. Wow, yeah. So your Mars is out of bounds. So yeah, you are just a fucking adventurer, traveler. Just you're just a doer. You're just a doer. And if you're not, I don't know what's going on. But yeah. So this T square you see here, or you're not seeing this, are you? Whatever. Screw it. Um, Basically, it's like your sun, Chiron, 90 degrees, 90 degrees. Um, and then so Chiron, sun, sun's here, and then Uranus, right? So it's like a bow and arrow, and it shoots out into the ninth house Aquarius. So this is the resolution point of this really important part of your chart. And guess what that means? To me, it means that by following Aquarius ninth house, aka you finding a truth that is completely authentic to you, right? Like you go having these authentic adventures too. Ninth house is travels, metaphoric, which could be learning, whatever, or actual physical travels, other cultures, different experiences. But like really, you taking that road, like really that road less traveled. Um, that's how you heal that wound, that deep Chiron wound. And also that's how it could be, yeah, getting out of America. Um, honestly, because like sometimes that Uranus square sun energy could be like wanting to prove the people wrong. But just like the expansion of the worldview and the finding of that cause is everything. Okay, let's take this and let's see what we can find if there's any important. Okay. Aphrodite conjunct Jupiter is Aphrodite. It's not one that I study, but my friend studies it, and she says it's like the asteroid of like princess-like beauty. It's on your Jupiter, so that's a very good indicator of that. Where is okay. Zosma with Saturn? Zosma is about esoteric, deep oak. I mean, it's one of the three in Babylonian astrology fixed stars linked to like astrology and studies of that of like of divination like that. So with Saturn, um it could be that you have like a serious approach to that, but I don't have. Hold on, I can look up and see if there's anything about Zosma, but I doubt there's gonna be something. Okay. Let's see this then. Okay, I don't know how I'm not a medical astrologer. I don't know how true this is. It says Saturn with Zosma could have some issue. Nothing's crazy, but something with breathing and with this planet, there could be more restriction in the breathing. But no, it's not Mercury and Saturn, so you're good. Wrapping a cloth containing both ginseng and chamomile herbs would help this weakness greatly. Drinking the two herbs as a tea would be great benefit also. So ginseng and yeah, but I don't know. So then Bellatrix Rising. That just speaks about just being very good leader. There's not any good information on it, unfortunately. Very bold energy, kind of like leadership. Lots of military links to Bellatrix. And Let's see here. So also in love, like really wanting the the loved ones to express themselves in a, full and open manner, like to not be afraid. That's cool. Yeah. So this was really amazing. And I got it done the night of, as I promised. Thank you for allowing me to do this. This is fun. And yeah, let me know about the follow-up slash current astrology. I have a lot of openings now that my month of crazy football only has 3 days left, which is Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Sunday. Hopefully France and Colombia are in the finals. And then it's just no sports for so long, and I'm just living and working. So, anyways, it was really fun. Honestly, I love doing this. Your chart's really, really cool, and I really hope that we can speak live to kind of put all the pieces of the puzzle together. Oh my God, I did it in an hour 35. Wow, I'm so proud. That's like my sweet spot. Okay, let me know about that. And I think, yeah, you mentioned astrocartography too. Whatever you want to do, it doesn't matter to me. I mean, whatever. I'm here for all of it. All right, ciao.